G'day guys, Dave here from the Alpine Nomad channel. I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough of the Dometic Santorini inflatable tent. Before we get into the details, I'll just give a few general comments about my impressions of the tent. Overall, it's a really good tent. I especially like that it's inflatable. It's actually a little bit easier to set up. You don't have to wrestle with any poles. You can run the pump on it and just let it inflate while you're doing something else. It's super easy to pack up. You don't have to do any complicated origami, and the bag's actually a fair bit bigger than it needs to be. So there's no wrestling with the tent to get it into the bag. I love the fact that it's got vertical or near vertical walls. The front door of the tent is vertical, and it just makes it feel a lot more spacious. And it's easy to get into. It actually feels like you're sort of walking through a door of a house more than a tent. The fabric's really good. It's a technical cotton, so it's actually breathable. It's not a plastic fabric like a lot of other tents, so with rain and condensation, it's just going to dry out a little bit quicker. There's not a lot to criticize about the tent, but I'd say if I had to find a negative, I think the floor material is a little bit thin, maybe not as durable as it could be. I think after a lot of use over a few years, you might start to wear that floor a little bit thin. But overall, it's a great tent. I definitely recommend it. Let's get into the details. This is the Dometic Santorini FTK 2x4 TC. So I'll just run through a bit of an overview of the tent, some of the key features, how it sets up, just to give a bit of a demonstration. So as you can see, it's got a 2 meter awning at the front, vertical front wall where the door is, which makes the tent feel a lot more spacious. And the construction uses 3 inflatable tubes. So you've got one at the front for the awning, one at the front wall of the tent, and one at the back of the tent. So they all have separate inflation points on the left hand side of the tent as you're facing it, as you can see here. So once the tent is inflated, these straps along the ground help it peg out in the correct place. So that makes it really easy to line up where you need to peg it. You just simply pull the straps tight. Basically you need to peg at least each corner of the tent, and obviously the awning feet as well. I've just got 2 straps set up on the front. There's a strap in the middle that needs to also be added to pull that roof tight, and I've just got 1 strap at the back, which I think is the minimum needed, and that's okay for rainy conditions, but in stormy weather you would add the side straps as well. So moving into the front, you've got a single door on the front, so the mesh zips up completely in a D shape. Then you've got the outer door, and that just zips straight down, and that stops there. So inside the tent, that's a double inflatable mattress, so you can see the space that you've got on the footprint there. So you could easily have 2 of those with a little bit of space in between. The floor design, so it's got the bucket style floor, so if you've got a downpour and water running across the ground, it's not going to hit the wall of the tent and run over the sides. So it's quite high. Fairly thick, durable floor. You've got a lot of windows in this tent, so that's one of the key features, is it's got great ventilation. So you've got obviously the door as a window, but then you've got a window on either side of the door that can also all be accessed from the inside, which is key. So you don't need to get out of your tent in the rain and adjust your windows. And then you've got 1 on either side. So essentially 3 on the front, 1 on either side. There's also a very large window on the rear that you do need to go outside to access. That's the only one that you need to do that. There's also on the bottom of the windows, there's a feature where you can pop out the window and keep it sort of open at the bottom by using these little tabs. So they just stick with Velcro. Once you've got those in place, you've got permanent ventilation at the bottom of those windows. There's also ventilation up here on the top of the door that never closes, and that's needed to just for safety, to keep the oxygen and the airflow through the tent. You can see that there's also a lantern hook up here, but there's also a lot of Velcro tabs along each of the tubes running the whole way across, so they can be used to hang various things, or also the inner tent, which are these clips here. And those ones there, so they're all to hang the inner tent from the inside, and on the back wall you've got the same. Those clips are also present on the awning, the front of the awning there, so you can see I've got a garbage bag that I've used the Velcro to hold that in place, so that's very handy. There's also 2 electrical cord inlets on either side of the tent. In the middle, that's the orange tab you can see there. So that's so you can feed in electrical cords and position where you would like whatever appliance you've got in there. Another thing that might be noticed is there's little cable ties on some of the air tubes, which is just to prevent someone from opening that without intending to do so. So you shouldn't open those while the tent's inflated, because there's a lot of pressure, and this fabric is holding in that air tube so that it doesn't burst. So that's the reason why those cable ties are present, just to stop someone from operating that zip. But obviously that zip's there for anyone needing to change those tubes as a replacement spare part. And they attach on the tent with Velcro. There's basically a little Velcro pad on the bottom of the foot, and that holds it in place. All the windows can be rolled up, so when you open a window, you've got these little tabs. On the other side you've got the little toggle, so when you roll the window up, it can be simply stored just at the bottom in a nice neat roll. Another good feature with this type of cotton material is that it doesn't make a lot of noise in the wind. It's a soft material, it feels more like a fabric, so with the tent flapping, it's not as bad as some of the more plastic tents. It's a really nice fabric and nice and quiet. So I'll just do a walk around once more. Another feature is the orange highlights, so just making it a little bit easier for people to identify where the corners are and which way the tent's facing. So you can see there, orange is at the back, and on the front you don't have the orange, so it just helps with orienting the tent when you're setting it up. And as you can see, I've used the awning as a bit of a shelter, operating out the back of my ute. So my cooking happens here. With the rain we've got at the moment, that just keeps this shelter. You could probably do the same with an SUV, I would imagine, although the liftgate opens up a little bit higher, but I think this would be quite a good setup for most vehicles if you need to do that. One more feature is the windows, so that it has a function where there's a gusset, so you can have added ventilation. So there's 2 zips here. One of those zips opens up, and then the window can actually be pegged out like this, so in a lot of rainy weather you can still have ventilation in the bottom of the window, and that window can also open up completely and open the full length for ventilation in conditions where there's no rain, as you can see there. So that's the tent.